On this episode of the Clip Service Podcast, the Clippers end up taking a win against the Golden State Warriors in what was a little closer than maybe us Clipper fans would have liked, but a win is a win nonetheless. So the Clippers are ready to hopefully usher in the new year with a couple more wins. As it stands right now, the Clippers are set to take on the New Orleans Pelicans on the 30th, and on New Year's Eve against the San Antonio Spurs on the 31st. So hopefully the Clippers can stack up a couple wins to usher in 2025. And we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors game first and foremost, preview some games coming up, and we are going to also announce the winner of our sweepstakes, guys. So we got a couple things to talk about on what will be a little bit of a shorter episode. But without further ado, let's make it happen.
What's up, Clipper Nation, and welcome to the Clip Service Podcast. Please make sure to find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Deezer, Amazon Music, YouTube, and you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Clip Service Pod. Happy holidays, everyone. I hope everyone had a nice Christmas. I'm Rolla. This is Nick. Let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it indeed, guys. Hopefully everybody had a nice, safe holiday. I, for one, got COVID for Christmas, so I'm recovering from that. But guys, the show goes on, and here I am, as delivered, as advertised. We got to talk about our Clippers, guys. And first things first, we got to talk about a very nice, little close for comfort win against the Golden State Warriors. 102 to 92. The Clippers led by 20, I think, or 20-ish going into the fourth. And Jonathan Kuminga made it interesting. Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski made it interesting there down the stretch. But the Clippers ended up taking the win behind some huge defensive plays from Ivica Zubac down the stretch. Yeah, this game was pretty much, it was a little bit back and forth in the first, quarter and a half. But the Clippers kind of started to take control. As I said before, got out to a 20-point lead. But in the fourth quarter, it was probably the worst stretch of Clippers basketball I've seen in a long time for about 4 minutes. It was just turnover after turnover. And, give credit to the Warriors. The Warriors kind of never took their foot off the gas. They kind of smelled blood in the water, and a big part of that was Jonathan Kuminga, who ended up finishing the game with 34 points. In the fourth quarter alone, he ended up having... I don't have the number in front of me, but he had at least 15, I'm pretty sure. So ended up making things interesting. Brandon Podziemski was getting under the skin of a lot of the Clippers that were out on the floor. Warriors were kind of getting away with some ticky-tack, fouls and stuff like that. But, yeah, things got a little bit interesting. I think it was like a 5-point game with about 4 minutes left. And the Warriors were kind of ready to tie the game up. But Zoo had a couple monster blocks, one of which was on a dunk attempt by Moses Moody. Returned to sender, went the other way, led to a Norman Powell layup. The highlight of this game was a putback dunk by Derrick Jones, which was... just a way for him to show off his athleticism, skied up for the rebound, and put that baby back in. So what did you like from this one specifically, Rolla, aside from the final box score?
Yeah, so, overall, I think we were expecting, kind of going off of our last episode, I think we were expecting Steph Curry and Draymond Green to play, but they did not.
Yeah, that definitely helped.
We thought it was going to be a little bit tougher of a game. Not one that we would... the result is still the result. We expected the Clippers to win, but, I think we came in knowing that they weren't going to play and kind of kind of didn't play with the aggression that was needed had they had been playing. So I think that was why Jonathan Kuminga kind of went off. Pajemski at the end kind of went off. Just because I felt like we kind of had our foot off the gas a little bit. But overall, I mean, I think the kind of just even going off the box score, the Clippers, it looks like we just put like there was a game where the Clippers were the Clippers. Norman Powell kind of, scoring around, being our main scorer, scoring around 30 points, 26, 10 of 20, fantastic game. 4 of 4 from the free throw line. James Harden, 7 assists, 18 points. Overall good game. I feel like everyone really chipped in, especially our starters. Derek Jones, 14, Zoo, 17, James Harden, 18, Norm, 26, Chris Dunn, 13, which is a lot of points for him. Usually he's sub 10, I feel like.
Yeah, hit 2 threes, which is really good to see.
Yeah.
2 for 5 from 3. That's been an area that he's struggled with a little bit.
So overall, I think it was a fantastic game. I had no complaints. It wasn't an extraordinary or underwhelming game. It was kind of just right in the middle.
It was definitely cardiac Clippers time in the last couple minutes.
Oh, of course, but what else is new with the Clippers? Yeah. I feel like that's been a theme for years.
Yeah, but yeah, good win. Especially with how close everybody is in the West in terms of standings. This is one that the Clippers needed to take, and they did, especially taking advantage of no Steph Curry and no Draymond Green. Steph Curry's getting up there in age, but he is still carrying that Warriors team, so it definitely took advantage of the absence of him. But 102 to 92, great win for the Clippers, and hopefully the Clippers can build upon that and take advantage of two teams that are definitely without the talent that we're normally used to seeing. Well, with the Spurs, it's more so they're just kind of like a rebuilding team. And with the Pelicans have been riddled with injury for most of the season. They will be without Brandon Ingram for sure. I haven't taken a look at what their availability or their injury report is, but I know that they are not at full strength, obviously, without Zion and without Ingram. But the first of those two is going to be against the Pelicans tomorrow, I believe.
Yep.
Tomorrow in New Orleans. So it's the first game of a 3-game little mini road trip. That's going to be at 5:00. Let's see let's just take a look at who's available for these guys. So it looks like Yves Missy, who has been kind of slotted into that starting center role. He's a day-to-day. Zion Williamson out. Jose Alvarado out. Brandon Ingram and Carlo Makovic all out.
Dude, so many injuries for them.
Yeah, and they're healthier than they have been recently. So, that's saying something. But I think this is just one where the Clippers need to take advantage of a depleted team. They have one of the worst records, if not the worst record in the league as it stands right now. So, again, another trap game for the Clippers. Obviously one that I would expect the Clippers to win. But what are you looking for in this one, Rolef, so that the Clippers can kind of secure this win?
Yeah, man, this is one same situation as the Warriors game. Like you said, this is a trap game. We're expected to win. We have our stars healthy. They don't. So our stars need to play like stars, which we expect them to, and which we assume they will. And if they do, then we win the game. I feel like nothing else. I don't want to say nothing else really matters, but at the end of the day, those are the guys that are the key to winning, and defense, obviously. So it's just kind of like sticking to our identity, playing the way you're expected to play. Come to work, do your job, go home. I feel like this should be a win, and on paper we're the better team.
Absolutely. The Pelicans still have some pretty good defensive tools, with Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, guys like that kind of like to pester ball handlers. Clippers need to take care of the ball in this one, I think, first and foremost. If that last 5 or 6 minutes of that Warriors game was any indication, the Clippers can chalk up turnovers in bunches. So we just need to make sure that that doesn't happen against this Pelicans team. Obviously, this is the Pelicans team, in terms of who's available, that has been giving the Clippers trouble the last couple of years. The Clippers have had some trouble with the New Orleans Pelicans in recent history, but I think that as long as the Clippers take care of the ball, I think this will be a much better outcome than we're kind of used to seeing against this Pelicans team. And it's not going to be a noon game. It is at 5 o'clock Pacific time, but I think the Clippers will have a lot of time to kind of get ready for this one and start off this little mini road trip right. The second game is going to be against the San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, Wembanyama is a handful. Did you see that post that what happened with Wemby the other day, where he was in New York and he tweeted out, or he posted on socials that he was just going to be playing chess in the park, and
dude, and it was raining.
It's just what's not to like about this dude? Obviously, he is a monster on the court, but league's definitely in good hands with guys like Wemby. But as far as what's to be expected on court, the Clippers did a pretty good job last time out that they played this San Antonio Spurs in kind of neutralizing Wembanyama. They did kind of let other guys get involved. Devin Vassell is back; he's kind of rounding into form.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a guy that we're going to have to keep in mind. But I liked the game plan that we had for Wembanyama last time around. First quarter and a half, he was pretty much out of the game completely. So I would expect the Clippers to kind of go small with him because he can stretch the floor. I would expect to see guys like Nico Batum and Amir Coffey picking him up when he floats out to the perimeter. I think if we maintain that and just try to run single coverage on Chris Paul, which is a difficult task, and he's kind of what makes everything go over there. But if we keep those guys in mind and run single coverage on everybody and make sure we don't leave their shooters open, I think this is one that we can take, pretty easily. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like our entire franchise kind of knows the way Chris Paul plays because he was with the Clippers for so long. So I think that neutralizing Chris Paul, neutralizing Wembanyama, considering we were able to do so in the last game, this is a game that I think that we can win. Is very winnable. Although that I think they won their last game. Who'd they play Christmas Day? Was that the Knicks?
The Knicks, yeah.
And they lost.
I think they lost. It was a close game.
They lost their last game.
Every Christmas game, Christmas Day game, pretty much.
It was super close.
Was close and really exciting.
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think we can talk about the Christmas Day games in a little bit, but so I think on Christmas Day he dropped 42 points, so it's kind of just trying to cut the head off of the snake and kind of deal with Chris Paul, deal with Wemby. I feel like everything else crumbles underneath. So, again, I think this is a winnable game by the Clippers. I'll expect a dub, but we won't give out official predictions. But the Clippers are the Clippers. Lock in on defense. Our stars got to step up. Norm has to do what he does, and I think this is a dub coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. The following two games are going to be a little bit more difficult. The first of which will be against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The OKC Thunder have presented a lot of problems, not just for the Clippers but for the rest of the league. They're one of the best teams in the league, one of the youngest teams in the league. They play super fast. They probably still lead the league in steals. They're really efficient defensively. Play both sides of the ball, shoot a ton of threes, and this one's going to be in Oklahoma. So this is going to be a tough one. I think for the most part they have a pretty clean injury report. Most of the usual suspects are available for the OKC Thunder. I think the big thing in this one is to make sure we're not getting Shea to the line, at will, because that is something that he is very, very good at. And, the Clippers are very physical defensively, and, those two things don't mix well a lot of the time. I just really hope we don't overplay our hand defensively and pick up quick fouls early on and send guys to the line for free. I think just the name of the game in this one needs to be defend without fouling.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Shea and Dort and a lot of those guys really like getting to the line, which slows down the game. The Clippers like to play a little bit slower, but anytime that you can prevent the game from slowing down and sending the opposing team to the line for free points is a plus. So this one's going to be a little bit tough, I think. But with the way the Clippers have played and the way the Clippers have played, particularly down the stretch, Clippers have proven to be a very good clutch time team this season. So I would expect this one to be a close one. I would love to see the Clippers go into the new year with a win against the OKC Thunder, but I have to be realistic here. So I'm going to say that this one's probably going to be a coin toss. But there's things that we can do to mitigate our, to help our chances of winning. And as I said, I think that making sure that you defend without fouling is probably the biggest one.
Yeah, I agree. Shea's he's a foul baiter, or what's the saying?
Foul grifter. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So he gets a lot of his buckets from the line.
Yeah.
I think the last game he dropped like 40. I don't know if that was the last game or 2 games ago. He dropped like 40 plus his career high. Like 20 of the points was from the line. So I think we just got to lock in on that, like you said. Defend without fouling. But this is a tough team. They're young. They have a lot of energy. They're fast. They play with a lot of pace, and then Shea kind of slows it down to his pace. This is a team that's difficult to beat, although it's not impossible. I mean, I think we've lost the last 2 times we've played them.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so I mean, we might be motivated. We might want it a little bit more and kind of go out with that energy. But this is just a tough matchup for us, as it's always been, spanning all the way back to last year, 2 years ago. So all you can really do is hope for a dub on this.
Yeah. Now the final game out of that out of that stretch of 4 games, is interesting because it may be a double-edged sword. If you guys don't know, or if you haven't heard the news, the game on January 4th against the Atlanta Hawks, which will be at home at Intuit Dome, Kawhi Leonard is slated to make his season debut. Our buddy Gavin ended up getting tickets to that game, several weeks ago, not knowing that was going to be the game that Kawhi was going to return.
Hell yeah!
And when I saw the news, I had to text him. So for those of you that are going to this game, make sure you give Kawhi Leonard a warm welcome if he does return. Now, in terms of the on-court product and in terms of the game at hand, I'd be curious to know, or curious to see, how, with the addition of Kawhi Leonard, how the rest of the team will play around him. How many minutes he'll play. Obviously, I think that, without all of that included, this is a game that I would expect the Clippers to win. The Atlanta Hawks have been kind of hit and miss this season. Obviously, Trae Young is a handful. Jalen Johnson is a most improved player candidate. They have a lot of really good players, but I think that normally the Clippers would probably go into this one pretty confident that they could win. Now, with the addition of Kawhi Leonard, obviously when Kawhi Leonard's back and fully ramped up, and he's got a couple games under his belt, the Clippers are going to be a very, very good team. But in the first couple of games back, I would expect Kawhi to be a little bit rusty. I mean, he hasn't played since the beginning of this year, so I'm curious to see how that affects the rest of the team. I personally think that if he's looking rusty, or if it's looking like he's holding the team back in any way, I would imagine that he kind of goes to the bench, and Ty Lue will make his decision based off of that. Mm-hmm. How do you think that if Kawhi plays, all things considered, how do you think that that's going to go in this one, Rolo?
I don't think he's going to get a lot of minutes at all. I think James Harden mentioned it in an interview, post-game interview on Friday, where he said that him and Kawhi had talked about it on the bench on how things were going to go once he comes back. And Kawhi had said something along the lines of he doesn't want to like kind of ruin the chemistry. They kind of want to ease Kawhi back in, try not to disturb what's going on with the Clippers right now. But like I said multiple episodes ago, I think that's inevitable that Kawhi ruins the chemistry. I think he's a player that needs the ball in his hands. I think he's a player that kind of plays at his own speed rather than the speed of the team, I would say. I think that a team is at its best when Kawhi is kind of playing at his best. And I don't think Kawhi will be playing at his best. And I don't think he can ever play at his best, if we're being honest. But, you know, I'm happy that Kawhi will be back. I'm happy there more eyes will be on the Clippers. But I do think that him being back and eventually playing max minutes will kind of throw off what we have going on right now.
Now, do you expect, with all of that being said, do you expect the Clippers to take the win in this one?
I have no idea. I think, like you said, I think this is a toss-up.
It's a big question mark.
I don't know. The Hawks they can be a different team on any given night. I mean, we saw them beat the Knicks, and the Knicks are looking good this season. You got Karl-Anthony Towns looking like an MVP caliber player. And, you know, the Hawks beat them in the NBA Cup. And then there are other games where the Hawks just look like shit. So, yeah. I don't know. It's
There's too many moving pieces.
Yeah, I think it's dependent on the Hawks, honestly. They can be a top team on one end or a bottom team on the other end. So,
yeah.
I would hope for the Clippers to win, but, you know, I really can't say.
True. Yeah, I think that this game is more indicative of the fact that the Clippers can kind of take a sigh of relief, knowing that their best player is back. It's not going to be fireworks immediately, but I think it'll be really cool to see Kawhi come back to the home crowd, make his Intuit Dome debut, make his season debut. I think that is the bigger picture here. So I'm really stoked to see what happens, win, lose, or draw. I'm really stoked to see Kawhi Leonard back in the lineup. Obviously, he elevates this Clippers team to a level that it would have probably never reached without him. So really looking forward to this one. Like I said, Clipper Nation, if you guys are going to that game, make sure you're loud. Make sure you give our man a warm welcome this season because he's worked hard to get back. And this team, as I said, is so much better with him than without him. So very excited for this one. That pretty much does it for the 4-game stretch. We'll kind of be recapping that next episode. We're going to take a quick break, guys, and we're going to touch on a few things and name off the winner of this sweepstakes, guys.
Yes,
we had
a
couple more submissions than last time around, so the odds are a little bit harder for those of you that are involved, but good luck, and we will announce the winner right after this. All right, guys, we are back. We are going to break down real quick. We're going to break down the Christmas Day slate of games. The Clippers were not involved in this stretch of games or in this series of games, but as I said before, most of the games, if not all of the games, were really, really good. It was for those people that have been talking about NBA ratings being down and the on-court product being bad and blah, blah, blah. This one was for you guys because this was 5 games that were very entertaining. It just kind of showed how good the NBA product is and how good the NBA talent is as of right now. The first of which was the San Antonio, New York game. New York ended up pulling out the win by 3, 117-114. As Rolla said before, 42 from Victor Wembanyama and 41 from Mikal Bridges. This was easily Mikal Bridges' best game of the season. He really showed out. This one was fun. I mean, really any game that's really high stakes or a very close game in the Garden is always really exciting. those fans get really into it, and
Yeah.
it's palpable the momentum that is created for the New York Knicks when they play in their home stadium. So, what did you like from this one, Rula?
Well, first, I just wanted to say really quick, kind of going off of you mentioning the ratings. I know we had that conversation last episode, kind of going over what was wrong with the NBA product, and I think like these games during Christmas kind of just shows, in my opinion, that it feels like sometimes that these players don't try as hard every game that I guess what I'm trying to say is they're not playing as it doesn't seem like they're playing as hard on any given night. So it kind of goes back to the question of like what's wrong with the NBA, and I guess like a solution that we didn't mention last episode last week was maybe they can shorter the amount of games so these teams play like at this level every game. Because if they're playing at this level every game, I mean, the amount of eyes that were on the NBA on Christmas Day, and Christmas Day is everyone has the day off, so it's people are have more time to watch and pay attention. Sure. But I mean, the way that people were talking about these games, people were very interested. I mean, we mentioned last episode also that the Knicks Spurs was kind of a random matchup that we weren't really excited about, and that ended up being one of the best games of the weekend. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I mean, as a fan, I would like to see the players play at this level every game, and I think that makes the product more special and more interesting. Yeah. When these games are close and you see these players like really want it, rather than them kind of just understanding that it's 1 out of 82 games and just tossing games away and not really showing up or sitting out or whatever, because I think that hurts the NBA overall. I should have pulled it up, but Kevin Durant had a quote. Nick, do you mind looking it up really quick if you can, the quote about why NBA ratings were down? He said Kevin Durant basically said he says that it seems like fans only care about the playoffs. And
was that in his conversation with it was on Twitter, and he was actually going back and forth with a very polarizing figure in the Clipper universe, Jacob the Clipper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Gone back and forth plenty of times. And I know that they were talking about the point of emphasis was the on-court product and
right.
how people shoot too many threes and stuff like that. And I can't remember. I didn't care to go through all of it, to be honest with you. But I know that they were touching on that, or he was touching on that in that conversation. As far as another quote, I'm not or let's see.
Let me look it up also.
There was a quote with Ramona Shelburne that he had. I don't know how recent that was, but he was saying that I feel like fans only want free agency and drama and only care about playoffs and finals and what that means for somebody's legacy. When they get programmed to just think about that, which has made them not want to care about the regular season.
Yeah, that's the quote I was talking about.
And that's true. Like obviously that is the most... free agency and the off season and stuff like that has become like the most talked about part of the NBA season or the NBA off season. And it's exciting. You get to see where players go and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's obviously for people that really care about the game. That's not the end all be all.
Right. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is, for your casual fan, I mean, most people who watch sports are casual fans, right? They're just people who come home from work and turn on the game. So I think basically what Kevin Durant is trying to say is I don't want to say there is no solution, but I guess the main question is how do they make the product as attractive as the playoffs, as the off-season drama? And we know the playoffs are exciting because we know that there's going to be a lot of drama and the players are going to play as hard as they possibly can. And even though the regular season is such a long grind, it sometimes feels like these players aren't even trying at all unless it's against, a really big team like Celtics, Sixers, or a rival. So I guess it's just kind of wondering how do we get more players to play and not take breaks, and how do we get them to try harder on your everyday game on a Tuesday?
Yeah, and I don't think there's any clear answer. I do think that, and I've said it before, that I do think that shortening the season would help. I also think that like the last couple of years, the scheduling has been weird, and I don't know why that is, but there's you have 10 games on one day, and then you have like one game the following day and two games the day after that. So I think that the way the NBA is really doing themselves a disservice with the way that they schedule games. I think if you have, a smaller chunk of games per day, it allows the viewer, the ability to watch all of those games without being, oversaturated or overstimulated with, 3 games that are going on at once. So I think that like there's no clear answer, but I think, my rebuttal is that I think that as far as what we're seeing on the court, I think that the talent is as good as it's ever been. So people that really enjoy watching this sport, obviously it's different. There's a lot of threes being shot. The offense is a premium, but that's just how the NBA goes. The NBA, there's ebbs and flows. The NBA is not the same thing that it used to be when Wilt was playing, and that's
right.
Things change, and so you have to be open to that. It's like with any sport, things change, and players play differently, and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, I don't think there's any clear answer, but I enjoy what I'm seeing, not just from my team, but from the scope of the NBA. And as I said before, this Christmas Day series of games was a big indicator of that. This game was awesome. I liked.
Wait, I didn't get to comment on that first.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But I think I thought that game was so good. I woke up and like turned it on immediately. And just watching Wembanyama kind of go off on his first Christmas Day game. I think he was the third highest rookie scorer on a Christmas Day game ever with 42 points. I think the only people higher than him was Wilt and someone else, and they scored like 45 or something. So it was just cool to see him kind of go off a young star in the league. But then also the Knicks, the Knicks are the Knicks, dude. They look good every single year, and then they kind of just collapse when it matters most. But I think that they're a team to be reckoned with at the end of the day. But yeah, overall great game to watch in the morning. And then I guess moving on, if you don't have anything to say about that game, moving on to the next game, the Timberwolves Mavericks. To be honest, I did not watch this game.
I didn't either. To be honest with you,
I don't think Luka played in this game, and I don't think Luka has been playing at all recently.
That's another thing I wanted to touch on is the reports came out that Luka was expected to miss at least a month with I don't know if it was an ankle or calf injury, but it's a huge blow to the Dallas Mavericks, who have been really good this season. But in terms of who was available, Kyrie Irving put up 39. Anthony Edwards ended up putting up 26. I can't remember if this was the game where Minnesota. Oh no, I'm thinking of Minnesota Houston, where Anthony Edwards kind of mounted a comeback, and they ended up winning late. But if the box score indicates anything, it's that it was a close game. Minnesota ended up winning 105-99, which did kind of play into the Clippers' favor a little bit, which is always something that I'm going to be happy about. But yeah, I saw the highlights from this one. I was tuning in and out of this one. I didn't see most of it. But yeah, it was a good game from what I saw.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say on that game. But the next game was the Sixers Celtics game,
And this was one that we said that we were looking forward to the most
yeah,
because it was a trap game, and that ended up kind of coming to fruition. The Philadelphia 76ers ended up winning this one against a really good Boston Celtics team, 118 to 114. Tyrese Maxey had 33 points, Jason Tatum with 32. The matchup between these two teams, there's definitely some bad blood or
a lot of history.
A little bit of a rivalry. Yeah, some history between these two teams, and that was very apparent in this one.
It was a good game.
Tyrese Maxey was incredible in this one. He's showing that he's the face of that franchise for sure. Depending on what happens with the rest of the guys like Embiid and Paul George.
Embiid's got to go, and Paul George.
Yeah. Whether or not that's true or not, Tyrese Maxey showed that he can carry a team on any given night. And in Boston especially, this one was a really, really good one. Some late game heroics from him. This one was a classic. And I think that what we were talking about in terms of Boston kind of taking their foot off the gas, particularly late in the game, we saw that in this one. And Philadelphia really, really wanted this one and ended up taking the win. Very close game, but a win nonetheless for a pretty cursed Philadelphia 76ers team this season.
Oh yeah.
The following game was the Lakers against the Golden State Warriors. Another very close game. Kind of the two. Obviously, there's a lot of really good players from this era, the LeBron James, Steph Curry era, that still play. But these two are kind of the poster children for the last of the dying breed, I guess. A lot of people say that they want LeBron and Steph to team up and win a ring together, which I think would be kind of silly. But
why would it be silly?
I don't know. I just think that's so gimmicky and weird.
Corny.
I mean, both teams would have to completely gut their teams to make this happen, and I think both are ready to retire here pretty soon. I think it would just be, I don't know. It would be more of a novelty.
KD, Steph, and Bron all in one team.
Oh God. No, I don't need that. But if it showed anything, it shows that these guys still have a lot left in the tank.
Yeah.
In terms of what they can do on the court. LeBron ended up finishing the game with 31, Steph Curry with 38, and the Lakers ended up squeaking out the win, 115 to 113. Steph hit a insane logo three with a couple seconds left on the clock to tie the game at 113. Lakers advanced the ball, and Austin Reeves ended up getting to the hoop for the game-winning layup. Obviously, no shade on Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves had a hell of a game, hit the game-winning shot. The Warriors' defense was kind of nowhere to be found on this last possession. It was really odd. Andrew Wiggins was facing up. Austin Reeves kind of let him get to the hoop. No help side defense came. Kuminga was their baseline. Just a weird way to end it, especially after some serious late game heroics from Steph Curry.
Dude.
But Lakers ended up taking the win. This was a huge game for the Lakers, huge win, and an instant classic on Christmas Day between LeBron and Steph, which we've seen time and time again, whether it was the Cavs versus the Warriors or whatever it was. We're really blessed to be able to see these guys compete and go head to head, and it's going to be a sad day when these guys end up hanging it up.
I'm definitely going to cry.
Yeah,
on both days.
We've had rivalries. The Clippers have had rivalries with the Golden State Warriors. Steph led Golden State Warriors. We've had some big games against the Lakers with Bron. So obviously there's some fun hatred there. But all of that aside, these guys are the greatest players to ever play the game, and we just really, as fans of the sport, have to enjoy what we're seeing, because in a couple years they'll probably be gone, and it'll be an ushering into the new era. So for all of you NBA fans that just enjoy the game, for all of you guys out there, really just soak this kind of stuff in, because this is we're watching history, and this was no exception. This game was no exception.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you wanted to say about this one, Rolla, before we talk about the last one?
Steph Curry he's a generational player. I don't think there'll ever be a player that will even come close to what he is. One of one, best shooter of all time. Those shots at the end were unbelievable. I don't think anyone else in the league can even attempt those, let alone make them the way he does. And, unfortunately, Austin Reeves had a slightly better game, triple-double, and had the game winner to win the Lakers a game, an important game that they needed to win. So, I think a lot of people talk about Austin Reeves and talk about him not being, him being overrated. But
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut on that one. But I honestly think he's such a fantastic, solid player, and he does a lot for the Lakers. And I mean, I think he wins them a lot of games, like he did on Christmas Day. That's all I have to say on that. Congrats to the Lakers.
Good. The last game, actually, yeah, we don't want to talk too much about that team on this podcast, to be perfectly honest. The last game was actually probably the most not underwhelming, but wasn't there wasn't as many fireworks in this one, and it was still a great game.
This one.
I did watch this one, the Suns versus the Nuggets. This was one that, just based on standings, I did want the Suns to win, so I was happy about it. Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant really stepped up big late in this one, 27 apiece for them. Bradley Beal had some really big stops late down the stretch and showed, that I think that he kind of gets glossed over in terms of being one of the better players from that era. He's never really been the focal point of a team, at least not a
Wizards?
Good team. Right, yeah, not a good team.
Gotcha.
But he really stepped up big in this one. And the Suns kind of just showed they had a little bit more firepower on this night than the Nuggets did. Jamal Murray really struggled in this one, 4 for 10 from the field, 13 points. All of the starters for the Nuggets were minuses in the plus-minus, and all of the starters for the Suns were pluses in the plus-minus. 25 from Nikola Jokic, which, believe it or not, is kind of underwhelming for him. Only had 2 assists. I just don't think the Nuggets really had the juice in this one, and the Suns took full advantage. It'll be interesting to see where the Suns are at when Booker comes back, because I'm not moved with the Suns as a team.
No.
I just think that their depth is a huge question mark. The talking point about this team has really been can this group of ball handlers and scorers, can they coexist together on the floor? And it hasn't really come to fruition for them in this era of Suns basketball. But it will be interesting to see what they look like when Booker comes back. They're a much better team when Kevin Durant plays, and if he can stay healthy and have Booker as his running mate and have Beal kind of be that third option, they can make some noise. But like I said, I'm not particularly moved by them just yet. So we'll see.
Neither.
But yeah, this was a great game, particularly for the Clippers in terms of the standings. That brings the Nuggets down a little bit, brings the Clippers a little closer to the Nuggets at this point. But just a great series of games on a day that really is run by the NBA. LeBron talked about it after his game against the Golden State Warriors. He said, "I love the NFL, but this is our day," and it's true. Christmas Day has kind of always been a Christmas Day type thing, and it's something that NBA fans kind of are a little bit protective over. And it was an instant classic and a great day to watch basketball. That pretty much does it for the Christmas Day slate of games. And now, the moment that you guys have all been waiting for, Rolla is going to take point on this and announce the winner of the Clip Service Podcast Holiday Sweepstakes. Rolla, take it away.
Thank you. So thank you guys so much. Thank you to everyone who commented, liked, and subscribed to us, to our YouTube video. We had the most ever people comment on our videos. So we have a total of
hold on. Keep talking. I just need.
We have a total of 15 people that have entered the giveaway. We have a total of 15 people that have
I'm just kidding.
That I've entered the giveaway. So I have everyone's names. Oh, you can't really see it. I have everyone's names on a spinner wheel. I'm gonna spin. It's gonna be completely random. Can you see it?
There it is. There's the wheel. Yep.
It's gonna be completely random, and I'll announce the winner.
All right, drum roll. Hold on.
And and the winner is Sabrina Ballend.
Woo! Congratulations, Sabrina.
Shout out to Sab. She was bummed that she didn't win the last one, but she's been a supporter since day one. So shout out to her.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, getting involved. We love doing these little fun sweepstakes and all these little extra things. And all the support is really appreciated, guys. So congrats to Sabrina on winning that $25 Amazon gift card. Go and get yourself something nice to start out the new year. And thank you guys all for putting your names in the hat.
Thank you guys so
we will
much.
have
We really
more of
appreciate
these.
it.
We will have more of these to come, and other little things. So please continue to tune in. Keep your ears and eyes peeled. Because we will have those sooner rather than later.
Yep. The next one
And
will
thank
be
you to
coming
Rolla for
very
spearheading
soon.
this.
Oh, of course. I mean,
Rolla does such a great job with this. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks to the crowd.
Speech.
I don't got shit, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but thank you to everyone that commented and shared, and we really appreciate it. And the next giveaway could be sooner than you might think. So keep commenting and keep liking.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. 2024 has been a crazy year, but we will continue to do our part in bringing you guys your favorite Clipper news, what's going on around the league, hot take, shot take, quick takes, sweepstakes, all of that and more going into 2025. Hope you guys have a safe and happy and fun-filled New Year's Eve. And I cannot stress enough, guys, be safe.
Please.
If you've had something to drink, please get in Uber, rideshare, ride
use
your
the $25
bike, walk.
gift card.
Yes. Use the $25 Amazon gift card to buy an Uber gift card and use that courtesy of the Clip Service podcast. Have fun responsibly, guys. Enjoy your New Year's Eve, and I hope you guys get everything you want and more in 2025. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Clip Service podcast. We have been Nick and Rolla, and we appreciate you guys. So
Happy
as
New Year,
always,
guys.
Happy New Year, and go Clips.
Go Clips.